Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today's episode we're going to run through the Stoney Creek 2024 forward fold camper trailer behind me. We're going to run through the pros, the cons, the issues that we've had, the things that we've changed, and finally we're going to circle back to the price. We're going to talk about how much this whole setup that you see here today, how much that set me back. Alright, let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's start with the pros. So this camper was all inclusive. It includes the canvas we see above, which is the awning. Also comes fully wrapped with the walls, the skirt down the bottom, and it has a floor mat as well, but we have upgraded the floor mat, which we'll talk about later. And a little privacy room off to the end as well. We don't actually use the privacy wall, the privacy room or the full walls all the time. So we actually take most of that out, but it is good that this model or Stoney Creek in general include that in their base package. So you get that all inclusive anyway. I know there are other camper manufacturers out there that don't include that, and it's an instant markup once you buy the camper. You get upsold the extra awning or the walls around and stuff like that. So I'm really happy these guys included that as standard, because for us that was a big draw card to not have to lay out any more money once we've already bought the camper, and we can just go away and start using it. That to me was a massive win. Another good thing that I like about this particular model of the forward fold camper from Stoney Creek is that it's really compact and it gets into places. So the Ranger doesn't know that it's behind there. It takes it and tows it with ease. The clearance that is on the camper already is mint. They got big mud tires on the camper. The suspension is more than adequate. Like, I'll drop some footage in here now of the site that we're in. This was really gnarly to get into, and the camper handled it with ease. And if we weren't able to get into here, we had no other backup at the moment, right? So we took a bit of a punt to get into this spot. We saw the track coming in and went, holy crap, how is this gonna hold up to it? And this particular camper stood the test, got us through, got us to this spot, and we've been here now for, I think, day 3. Fully self-sufficient, fully off-grid, and this is magnificent. This is what we come out for, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have the clearance or the compactness of this camper to allow us to get to a spot like this. So another good thing about this Stoney Creek forward fold camper is that it actually included a hot water system with it, which has been mint for us. So as you can see behind me, we've got a shower tent that we've just set up, nice little instant pop-up one. But what it allowed us to do here is have the creature comforts of home to have a shower. There's 130 litres, I think, on board in the Stoney Creek itself. So there's 4 of us here at the moment. We've all had a shower. We've topped it up a little bit because we've been here for 3 days now, but I'm really impressed with the water quantity, the hot water system itself to be able to have a hot shower, and just have those little creature comforts when you're not at home, you're out in the bush, and you can have a shower, freshen up, and makes you feel really good. This particular model had, I think it was one of the first ones that Stoney Creek went through with lithium. So they've upgraded us from AGM batteries to 200 amps of lithium. So there's 2 100 amp lithium batteries sitting in this camper. So they've got a little control panel here, which I'll walk through a bit later. I had some issues with this originally. But as you can see, we've got 200 amps of lithium sitting here at the moment. I've got a blanket plugged in, so we're taking solar from the sun, and we're topping up our 200 amps of lithium as we go. More power means off-grid for longer, and everything just works. We can charge our phones, watches, cameras, any sort of electrical device that you have. There's plenty of plugs on here. So we'll talk about those for a sec. So I've got a cigarette plug there, you've got 2 USBs there, you've got the same inside the doorway, and you've got the same again next to the radio. So there's like 6 USB-A ports in the camper, and I think there's also 3 cigarette lighters along the whole way as well. So there's plenty of places to charge your devices, which is a big thing for us because we carry a lot of gear with us. You know, drones, cameras, phones, watches, all that sort of stuff. And we need a nice, easy way to charge things. Like you can see at the moment, sitting on the bench here, we're running. This is lights. So we've got lights, we've got USBs here, and we just sit them on the shelf here from the pantry, and we can charge up as we go. So nice and easy and simple, and we wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't have a decent 12-watt system in the camper itself, which this one has.
Does it come with the solar blanket?
No.
So because that stock standard is not going to come with it.
Correct.
How long is this going to last?
Good question. So it depends on what you're charging with your 12-watt system. So naturally, when we sit here, if we're only here for a day, I won't put the blanket up. If we're here for a few days like now, it makes sense to kind of keep it as topped up as we can. There's 2 ways that you can get power into the van, which One will be with connecting up with your Anderson plug on the back of the car, which takes alternator current through the car and tops that up via the 12-volt system in the car to charge your batteries. The second one, which we'll run around in a second and it's near the hot water system, is the blanket that's on the front here. If you just have a look up the front. So there's a 200 watt blanket sitting on there at the moment. And what that does is we're taking in solar there from the sun. We're going through an unregulated port at the back of the camper, which is dedicated for solar. And that is then topping up your batteries as well. So 200 amps of lithium. I'd have to run the figures and work out what the amp to hours charging ratio is. But generally, we don't usually get below 70% with the stuff that we're charging. So if we were here, or Eric, if we were here for 4 days, I think I saw in the first day we used about, 15% of the batteries when we were here for 4 of us. So you could last a while off grid. I just like to stay above 80%. Another thing that Stoney Creek did for us is, as part of the process of purchasing this particular forward fold, we got a fridge as well. So this is a 75 litre Mike Coolman, which is what I've been told is the largest fridge that you can fit in this fridge slide in the front there. If you poke the camera through, we'll poke the camera in just quickly, you'll see that it's got some insulation in there. So that was an added thing that we had to do for the big trip we're on now across to Victoria and back. So we just cut up some insulation, stuck it onto the inside panels here to help the fridge out, because it will get hot as you go across Nullarbor and back, especially with the sun beaming directly on this checker plate. So it's insulated there now, 75 litre fridge. Haven't had a single drama with this Mike Coolman either. It's been absolutely mint. It's got the little storage box in there, which has got all our goodies in there. It's been mint. Love it. So when looking at a camper, a couple of things I was looking for was, I wanted something that was compact, fairly light, not too heavy on the car. So this one ticked all of the boxes because it's only 1.6 ton when fully loaded. It's got the capability of storing 4 people in it. So we have, at the moment, there's 4 of us on this campsite, 4 adults, including Eric, who's doing the filming for me today. Thanks, mate. So we've got 4 adults that we've managed to fit into this forward fold camper. The main bed, which is on this side, is, I don't know what the exact size is. I'll find it and I'll drop it in the video here. But I think it's a mix between a queen and a king. The mattress is about yay thick, and that's enough for me. Sleeps us comfortably, but the other side as well, it's a bit messy in there. I don't know if you want to throw that in there, but this side is like a double kind of size, and it has the capability to convert this into like a dining room / living area as well. We've taken that out because we've gone and we're doing about 10,000 Ks at the moment. So we've taken the table out, and I'll show you my little storage hack in a moment too. I've put 2 storage boxes under there instead, which is about the same height as what the table was, which gives me an extra 150 litres of storage. So we don't have the capability to convert that into a dining area with lounge all around at the moment, but that's how this does get configured when you buy it out of the showroom. So I like that because you're able to store, or 4 adults are able to sleep fairly comfortably in this camper setup. The main reason why I picked a forward fold over like a soft floor camper or something like that is because I know exactly how much space that I need with the camper. It doesn't extend any more real estate on the floor. So when you pull into a site, you don't need to worry about, oh, have I got space behind, have I got space in front, because it literally folds over onto itself, which means you don't need to worry about any real estate around your campsite as you're... All right, just doing a quick health check, guys. Make sure you still got a pulse. So if you've made it this far and you've watched more than one of my videos or found any value in what you've watched so far, please, I'm going to put a QR code in the screen. Scan that with your phone. It'll only take you 5 seconds. Pause the video now and do that for me now, please. Once you've done that, you'll get a little notification to subscribe to the channel. Guys, it's that simple. Please subscribe to this channel to keep me delivering content for you guys. That's enough rambling from me. Let's get back to the video. So now we've gone through the pros. Let's have a look at some of the teething issues that we had and some of the negative things that have come out of purchasing this camper. So we're going to run through the con list. There's a few. Some of them are quite painful. So let's move into those. So the first con on the list is the fact that this awning is quite hard to set up by yourself, for one. There are videos of people doing it by themselves, so it is possible. But if you've got a wind up, or if you're by yourself and it's already 40 degrees outside, this can be quite tedious to put up by yourself. It took 4 of us when we rolled up to do it. We all had a job, and it can take 10 minutes to put up. That being said, if someone has a hack on how to do this quick by yourself, drop it in the comments below, because I'd be keen to see that, and I'd be keen to give it a crack myself and see if I can get it done in sub 10 minutes. So the next one is the hot water system. So whilst it was a Pro, the hot water system is included. As you can see, we've got an awning tent or a shower tent here to actually be able to have a shower. So whilst the hot water system is included, basically, unless you want to give everyone a free show, you need to get yourself a shower tent of some sort, whether that be one like this, which is just an ensuite one, instant pop-up, or like I've got on the Ranger, you'll see it's hanging some clothes and stuff at the moment. That is also a shower tent, which I haven't managed to get onto the back of the camper yet, which is what I had planned to do before we headed out. I just ran out of time. So just note that, guys, you'll have a hot water system to have a shower, but you actually have no privacy or no shower tent to actually have that without giving everyone a free show. So after you've given everyone a free show with your hot water system that was included, the one drawback that I found to this is that there is actually no place to store it. So the recommendation from Stoney Creek when we picked this up was to throw this in the back of the ute, along with the jockey wheel, which I don't like because it's not inclusive anywhere in the camper. I have seen some guys build a hot water storage box for this, and what they do is they take this one off. So they take the utility box off the back, they put a bigger one on there and bolt it down, and then all of a sudden you've got this hot water system in a weatherproof container on the back of the camper. That's a much better idea than two boxes, in my opinion. And I will go down that route eventually, but before this trip I ran out of time. That would definitely be something that would draw me to this again if I was to go down the path, being able to store my hot water system somewhere, but also having a tent available if I wanted a shower and I wanted my privacy. Alrighty, next con. So you might see the plyboard on the back here. I'll talk to more of this one shortly. We'll have a trip video on how that happened and what we're going to do to fix it. But coming back to cons, so the next thing that's on the list for the Stoney Creek camper was I upgraded to a DO35 hitch, which to me was a no-brainer. We wouldn't have been able to get to this campsite without this hitch. However, this is not standard, which if you're towing an off-road camper or a caravan, DO35 is a no-brainer. Don't do a poly block, don't do a tow ball. You'll go the DO35. This should have been standard. It was not. That was a $500 edition. Be prepared, right? Next thing while we're at the front is the jockey wheel. We have it's just an Alco jockey wheel that's here. Personally, I would have preferred one of the ARC 750s to go on the front. Doesn't come with it, I'd have to upgrade it. The bracket itself is actually welded to the A-frame of the camper, which has pros and cons, I understand that. But what I don't like is when you unwind this onto your tow ball of your car, you've got nowhere to put this, right? You have to find a place for it in your car or somewhere here so you can get your hands on it again. I want to try and put something along the A-frame here so I can strap it in one way, shape or form, but I haven't quite worked out the best way to do that yet. So again, if you've got suggestions on how you might do that, feel free to drop them below, put some pictures in. Keen to see it and keen to try it. So let me know how you go. Nice and dust proof as you can see.
That's Nullarbor red dust in there, guys.
So just on that, I'll just give you a quick spin in here. So we've got a Victron controller that's sitting in here and a C-Tech charger as well. So it's got some pretty good gear in here in my opinion for the 12 volt setup. The batteries are just down here as well. So you've got two 100 amp lithiums as mentioned before. And as you can see, this is the first time they've been on red dirt. So there are probably a few little holes there that could be plugged to seal that a little bit better. But the only thing that's missing from my perspective here is an inverter of sorts. So we've got a double pole GPO sitting in the back here, but that is not accessible when we're off grid like we are now. And then on the back here is another one inside the camper itself. We can't charge any of our appliances at the moment with that because it all runs off mains power when you're plugged in on the corner. All right, so that's one drawback as well, is that there's no inverter included in the kit or in the setup. So something to add later if you're thinking about it and you need to charge 240 devices, which is going to cost you more money. Let's talk warranty. So we've had a couple of issues with the camper since we picked it up in January 2024. The first being some issues with the 12 volt control display panel. Now, we went away on a trip, we had a 3-day weekend, it was a long weekend, I remember it well. We plugged in a second fridge into the camper's 12 volt system just to check how good the 200 amps of lithium was. It's the first time I've had that much power and I wanted to give it a run for its money. So we had the fridges plugged in, it was running for a good 2 days solid. I noticed that the battery indicator never dipped from 100%. It stayed at 100% for 2 days, which is not right. Regardless of if it's AGM or lithium, you'd expect it to decline to at least 90, 80, 70, whatever percentage. And nothing of that happened. Within a day of that, when I noticed that it wasn't increasing or decreasing, I had a solar blanket plugged in as well, and there was no power fluctuation on the control panel at all. Come the second night, everything cut off. Both fridges stopped, our lights that we were running stopped, couldn't access the water pump, all power in the camper was gone, and the control panel that's in there, the 12 volt control box, had 0% and it started beeping at us. So the 12 volt literally went from 100% to 0% and then everything cut off. So that was the first problem. So we called up Stoney Creek in the early part of that next week and said, guys, this is what's happened. We brought it up to Wangara, to their workshop. They had it for a day or two and called us to come pick it up. It seems to be okay. So I was like, okay. We went and picked it up, brought it home, and then I plugged it into my power at home to check it. Everything worked. I then unplugged it and left it for another 2 or 3 days. And I was monitoring it through the week. Again, 100%, 100%, 100%, all of a sudden 0% and beeping and everything's off. So call them up again. We went through this a couple of times. Their camper went back to Stoney Creek, I think 3 times that I took it there, and they still couldn't fix it. So on the 4th time, they wanted me to bring it in, and I ended up saying, I can't get it to you. So they actually came to my house and picked it up, right? 4th time, it went up. They've identified the fault as the control volt display panel. So they used a aftermarket 12 volt display panel, and we finally got a replacement branded one, not an import cheapie. And since then, everything's worked. So we can now see that the voltage and all the amps and stuff, percentage is declining from 100% down to 90, down to whatever. And we can see the draw coming out and the amps coming in from solar. So couldn't see that stuff before. So I'm finally happy that it's fixed. But just be mindful if you get something like that, check it before you go. Or check it before you go on any sort of extended trip. You need to have a couple of trial and error type runs somewhere close to home in case things go wrong. Because they will, inevitably stuff will go wrong, and you just need to be prepared to deal with if your stuff goes offline, how are you going to fix that? Alrighty, so the next warranty thing we had was with the poles. So there are 6 internal poles in the camper, and I'll put some footage of those in a sec. So the problem that we had was these little like spigot ends, they are crimped, right? So if you come into there, they're crimped on the end, they have a crimp. But what happens when the wind picks up and it gets a hold of either the insulation blanket or the canvas itself, it goes a bit floppy and it actually pulls the spigots out of the pole. So I had that happen on 3 out of 6 of the poles within the first trip. So I had half of my poles out of the clips were out of the pole after the first trip. So again, called up Stoney Creek. It went back, they re-crimped them. And then on the next trip, the other 3 came out. So instead of going back up to Stoney Creek for warranty on that one, I found a nice little hack that I saw on one of the Facebook groups that I'm following, which is the Stoney Creek Forward Fold Facebook group. And what they did was they actually drilled through the pole and through the little spigot, and they just nut and bolted it right on the side, so it'll never come off again. So I'll drop some footage in now of me doing that inside, because I've gone and done all 6 of those poles inside the camper now. That will never happen again to me, and I would highly recommend, if you're getting internal poles like that, check them before you go in case you do get wind. If you do, I'll put the information on what I did below in the description, including the size drill bit you need, the nuts and bolts and stuff like that. Literally a $20 fix from Bunnings to fix that forever. Get onto it. All right, and the final warranty concern that we have is this. You might see here, that's meant to be stainless steel and rust resistant. Clearly it's not. So this is going back when we get back from our big trip. Again, the camper is only 12 months old, and this is the corrosion that we've seen. It has not been on salt water or not been near salt water. It's been kind of garage, it's under our patio. There is no reason why, in my opinion, why that should be corroded this bad. And then when we compare it to the other side, you'll see the difference between the two. All right. Like, as you can see, there is no corrosion on that side. It's just on the passenger side where the door entryway is that is corroded. So we'll see how they go with that. So the next piece, we're going to run through some of the stuff that we have done to the camper to make it our own. So things that we've changed along the way that we either didn't like or that we've modified because we found there was a gap somewhere. The first thing that I did to this camper was I added a set of Hammerlocks. Now, if you don't know what they are, I've got a link to a video that's going to come up right now on how you can install a set of those. But for those that don't know, follow me. On the front of the camper, we have these. All right, so these are Hammerlocks rated for the camper trailer itself, and they just hook into the receiving end on the car. It saves you having the D-shackles and having to undo the pin and put the pin back in. Massive time saver when you're trying to hook up your rig. All right, definitely worth and definitely recommend getting a set of those installed. So the other thing we've done is we've taken out all the canvas. So what the canvas is all of the walls, the floor, the skirt across the wheel and the front of the camper here, and the awning itself. So this stuff doesn't live permanently in the camper, and we take it on trips as we need it. So the way we do that is I have a big storage box at home. I think it's about 150 or 200 litres at home. It's fully sealed. And we've taken out all the canvas, all the walls and stuff from the only storage box in the camper, which is at the front on the driver's side. That was where that lived, but you can't put anything else in there once the canvas is in that box. So we pulled that out. I've got it at home. And then what we do is if we're gonna stay at a place for more than like 3 or 4 days and set up the full awning and the walls, we load that box onto the front of the camper and strap it down. And then we can still take all of our other stuff in that storage box as well. But it's a nice little hack if you're not gonna use it all the time, and it is quite painful to set it up. You've got to have a couple of people. It does take a while to do it. Again, I haven't worked out a nice quick system to get all the walls up yet. So on the canvas, so I said that we take the walls and the floor and the skirt out. I do keep this one and the floor mat in the camper. So what we do is we generally fold up the awning and we fold up the floor mat and we lay them flat on the second bed. So it goes across or above the cushions, and then we just lay the floor mat and the awning across that as flat as we can, throw the poles in down the side, and that allows us to have it always in the camper. So we'll always have a ground sheet cover, and like now, we can always put this up to get extra shade. So that's how we handle the awning and the floor. All right, the next big thing for us is a rubbish bag. So I'm using a crash pad rubbish bag or gear bag. So it allows us to put our rubbish in. It's nice and big, nice and heavy duty, full canvas and PVC lined. So if you do get any spills or anything like that, you can literally hose it out. It's got a hole in the bottom to hose it all the way through, which we're going to do when we get home because she's a bit dusty. So 100% recommend a gear bag to go off the back tire. It's got nice, thick, heavy duty metal buckles on this. So I haven't had any issues with this, and to be honest, it has been a lifesaver when it comes to rubbish. We're on our second bag here at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how that all fits in here, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Get yourself a good quality gear bag for your rubbish. It'll make your campsite a lot cleaner, and also means that you can take away the rubbish you bring with you to help keep the site nice and clean for everyone else when they come camping. How do we deal with the crappy situation? It's a great question. So we got 2 toilet options when we go away. This bush dunny is magnificent for number 1s. So I won't pop the lid, but essentially it'll fold into a flat pack toilet, which is really cool. And then for number 2s, we've got the porta potty. As you can see, it's a pretty crappy joke, but we're full at the moment. So we have option 1 and option 2 for number 1s and number 2s. The only downside or drawback to that is for option 2, you need to store that somewhere because it's quite big and bulky. And when it's full of, you know what, it can be quite heavy as well. The next creature comfort for us is the kick-ass shower tent. So we've mounted this one to the car for now because I ran out of time to mount it to the camper. But ultimately I want to mount this one towards the back end of the camper trailer because that's where the outlet is for the hot water system. So the hot water, cold water and the gas for the hot water system. So this is meant pretty cheap in the scheme of things. I think they're about 350 bucks, give or take, from Kick-Ass. And has been a really good addition to our camping setup. Myself, I quite like the fact that I can stand in there and still see over it. So if you have a shower in the afternoon or towards the end of the day, you can actually look up and you can see the sky around you, which I find quite nice. But I've also got a video on how I fit that to the car as well. So I'll drop that down below as well. There's a little card so you can go and check that out. Next thing that wasn't included with the camper that we've gone and added is a solar blanket up top here. So this is a 200 watt solar blanket, which I believe we picked up from Aldi. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money on big name branded products. You know, you can go and get yourself something half decent from Aldi, for example, or even King's gear. Like we've run a fair bit of King stuff before. It's a nice cheap entry level into camping. If you're not sure if you're going to like it, or you know, you don't have a huge budget, it's okay to do that. We ran out of money when we were doing this trip and I needed some storage boxes. So I've run 2 King's 45 litre storage boxes. They have been phenomenal. Not a single drop of red dust has entered those boxes in the 6,500 Ks that we've done so far. So I'm super impressed with those. But 200 watt solar blanket, you'll need a blanket or a panel for your camper to top up your 200 amps of lithium. One of the final things that we've done is we've added some party lights. So under your awning here, there is no lighting. The only light you have outside is one that's supplied here, right? And this one that comes on with your kitchen. So that is not enough to light up this whole area. What we've done is I've got a little Temu purchase that I've done, right? A little solar party light, and we've just gone and fed it through the poles the whole way around. I say we, but it was actually Eric. Eric's gone and fed the whole party light, the whole way around the edge here. And I've gone and added a little bit more because we were playing cards last night and it was a bit dark. So we've got a little bit, this is actually a King's one as well, I think. So again, goes to show that you can get some decent stuff from various different places. But I'll drop some footage in here now of us playing cards and just the atmosphere that this grants by adding some lighting to your awning. Alrighty, so the final piece, how much did all of this cost? So I'll throw a bit of a tally up in the corner as we go across so we can total how much this is going to be. But the short of it is the camper was about 28,500 for the whole lot with floor and all that sort of stuff. So the camper is about 28. The gear bag, I'd have to double check, but I think that was a couple of $100. These you can pick up for under 50, like $30 or something from Kmart or Target. They're pretty inexpensive. We've got an extra gas bottle on the front. Again, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'd say about $50 for one of those. Solar blanket, I think that was about $200 to $300 for a solar blanket there. The upgraded DO35 Hitch was just shy of 500. Hammerlocks on the front, they were pretty inexpensive as well. I was quite shocked by how much they cost. I think they were around the $50 mark for that kit. The fridge, if you are going to get a fridge and it doesn't get thrown in, you can be looking anywhere from sort of $1,000 up to $2,000 depending on the size of fridge that you want. The slide is included as part of the build, but the fridge was not. Ask your local rep and see if they'll throw one in. You know, you never know that you might actually get one. The tent that's behind us here, so this kick-ass tent, I believe was sub $400. It's around the $350 mark for that, if I remember correctly. Oh, the lights. My Temu purchase for the lights, they were about $25. And I think these ones were around the same, the $50 sort of mark. So probably set yourself maybe $100 for some lights just to have some fun. Get a couple of the party light kits and get yourself a little light bar strip or something like that to have some fun. And really the rest of it is just odd stuff you'll probably have around the house, like some buckets, some storage, spare extension lead, you know, power board, stuff like that you can just leave in the camper in various places, like first aid kit. All that sort of stuff comes into play when you're starting to do travel like this. I have a first aid kit in the camper, but I also have one in the car. So it's if you've got, you know, if you take the car out for the day, you've got a first aid kit in there. If you have the camper here and there is no car, there's also a kit here as well. So keep that in mind. A good first aid kit, I think we paid $200 to $300 for a first aid kit. That was from Survival. So they have a whole range of kits. So they do an outdoor kit, snakebite kit, full drive type kit, and we just got a standard family first aid kit for the car, tacked on a snakebite kit and a pet one as well. So we've got the pet kit in the car for the dogs as well. So get yourself a good quality first aid kit. There we have it, everyone. So that's my 12-month honest review of the Stoney Creek forward fold Gen 2 camper trailer in its entirety. So $28,000 from the dealer, and we spent probably another $4,000 or $5,000 to get it kind of ready for us. You don't have to spend that money, don't get me wrong. There are a few key things I would do there that will make this camper more practical when you're going out and about, which is why I've included them. We have spent more money than that on this camper trailer, but I don't want to go into all of the things that we've done because they're not applicable to everyone. So I've put on what I would feel the bare essentials that you would need to get this camper out and about. So I hope you appreciate that one. Guys, if you found any value in this video at all whatsoever, please smash that subscribe button below for me. I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Have I missed anything on this list that you've done? Drop them in the comments below. I'm keen to see what you've done. And yeah, till the next video, I'll see you then. Righto guys, we're currently a couple of hours out of Esperance. We've got a massive trip series coming. It's been done, we've recorded it, it's got to be edited. All I ask, smash that subscribe button below so you guys see it first. It's coming, get amongst it, and I'll see you in the next one. And now for the most important thing. Eric, do you want a beer? No, thanks. My cameraman's not thirsty.